Hey, Joy Gina here, International Neurodiversity Coach. This week's article, very fascinating. You never know when you write these things how the rest of the week's going to go. And this one's really interesting because the article is about, I got to check it out, combating neurodiversity, fatigue, and avoiding burnout. And I find this kind of humorous because last night, as the universe and fate would have it, we had a major storm here and there was no power this morning, no internet. I'm combating a variety of things to bring this to you today. And I can feel just what we're talking about, which is neurodiversity fatigue. I had a whole day planned, lots of things I wanted to get done, and I needed to restructure them. And so all of the morning was spent obsessing and doing that. None of that's in the story. That's the bonus story for watching the video. In my article, I talk more about a situation where I got hijacked and sidelined by checking email. And then the things that come up in that, it's one of the reasons for me. I have specific times that I do email and I do set boundaries, and there's a color coding system for how long something's going to take to respond to it so that I have adequate time so I don't get fatigued from my email, because it can look really innocent. It's just a little email, but some of those emails can be really time consuming in the business world. So I have kind of a rating system that I use and make sure that at the end of the day, things are accomplished within 24 hours typically. But there's a process to that. I also talk about in there understanding and knowing that. And that's something I find a lot in the neurodiverse community. People with dyslexia, ADHD aren't always paying attention to their body and listening to their mind and how things are going in some of the chatter. Like, I knew I needed to make this video. It's now about 4 hours after I started and attempted to do this, but with the internet down, no power, I had to wait until those things came along. I felt myself getting fatigued. I could tell there was a big energy draw on me to adjust to all of that and the stuff that was happening and so forth. And so what I did instead was I stopped and I went and worked out for a half hour. And that reset that energy. It reset that kind of anxiety that was going on, that confusion, frustration, curiosity, all the things. There's chainsaws going, leaf blower, there's all of this noise right now. And it's really nice to have settled myself, to have gotten myself aligned energetically, and to be here sharing with you about doing the exact same thing. But it does require, I had to look at my schedule and say, okay, how am I going to restructure this? Because I'm going to need a break. I'm going to need to reset my brain so I stay focused, and I'm working on what's important. And I did that. And that's what this article talks about. It talks about understanding that this fatigue is very real. I don't want to have it. I have other things going on. I'm really excited about those other things, and I do not want to get sidelined. So that's why it was important to take an hour to work out and take care of myself this morning. It's also recognizing your coping mechanisms, right? So when I woke up this morning at 3:00, my coping mechanism was I got up, and luckily I keep an amount of music on my phone. And luckily I have battery backup chargers for my phone. So my phone was fully charged. And I just turned on some really soft meditation music and just chilled and got my brain to come down again and not worry about all the things and rescheduling. Those would happen. They didn't need to be solved right then. And I knew that. And I was able to do that, which was really nice. And like I've been talking about pacing, right? I restructured my day so that I could pace it appropriately for the fact there's going to be other things that need to be addressed. Internet that comes in and out, power that's going on and out. Things just needed to go at a different pace. And yet they could still move forward. And I don't need to come to the end of the day and be completely drained. There's a way. You need to start to pay attention to that and be able to make those choices in the moment and involve the people around you. I took a moment to just walk through my schedule and restructure it with my husband. I appreciated, I needed the time to talk to another person and for a little bit of support of, that's a good idea. That might be too close and you might not have enough time. See what you can make happen there. So think about times when you felt burnt out or when you felt really fatigued, and now start to do that differently. Start to think about how you would structure that differently. Think about how you would handle what I'm in. No power, no internet, don't know when it's going to come back on. Don't freak out. Just be like, okay, my first response could be this. I will always tell you from the great experiences I've had as a volunteer firefighter, and at one time I actually helped out with the American Red Cross for disaster services. One of the best things you can do is don't be afraid of the fact that bad things might happen, such as fire, storms, those types of things. Have a plan. There's a tornado, like the possibility of a tornado in my area is actually, it's not high, but it's there. So we used moments like last night as a way to practice our tornado drill. Pack everything up, go down to the safe zone, have the cat, get the cat food, like all the things. Use these little reminders of creating skills and experiences walking through the paces of something, so that next time it doesn't create additional anxiety, it doesn't mess with your system, and it doesn't cause burnout and neurological meltdown. Because you don't have to do that. Neurological fatigue is very real. It also means now that you know about it, you should plan for it and start to build around it. I'm Joy Dina. Thanks for checking in, and I hope you enjoy the article. It'll be entirely different than this video. Bye now.